Have you ever looked at your Buck 119 special and thought, this knife is a little bit anemic. I wish Buck made something like this that was a little bit thicker, a little bit more robust, a little bit bigger, something that was full tang. Well, you know what, folks? I think I know the answer to that question. Stay with me, folks. Howdy, folks. Singing Toad here, and today I am super pleased to bring you this knife. This is a knife that I have wanted for a long time. This is going to be kind of like getting into a part 2 of a topic I did a little while ago, kind of an unofficial open tag of, knives that you've wanted for a long time, but you just never got around to purchasing. Not necessarily a grail knife. I want to make sure that very clear here. This is not a grail knife. It's just a knife that I've wanted for a long time, and I just never got it for this, that, or the other reason. I've been in the store. I've looked at it. It stared at me. I had money in my hand. I went ahead and I bought something else, but meanwhile, I never left the store with this knife, and it's something I've wanted. So this is another example of a knife I've wanted. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, of course, it's a Buck knife. This is the box. It's so big it hardly fits in frame, but that's what this side looks like. That's what this side looks like. And that's what this side looks like, which I think is really funny because it has like this California thing in here about causing cancer and birth defect, which is kind of really funny, but apparently this product is toxic in California. I think that's the side it started on. That's what that side looks like. USA made. Darn right. And, well, I'm going to reveal what the knife is right now. You're going to be able to see this end and figure it out. But yes, this is, in fact, the Buck Frontiersman. And yes, that price is not actually what I paid for it. I'll explain that in a little bit. But that's the box. Inside, just a warranty card. And I do have the knife out because this was a display model. This was literally the last one they had in stock. It was the display model. So I got a discount because it was firstly a display model, and it does have a slight defect on it. It's only a minor thing, but you know what? Hey, I'm half Scottish. It was easy for me to haggle this price down a little bit. So I didn't actually pay what you saw on that for it. I paid a little bit less because I got a discount for those two reasons. Here's the big reveal. There she is, the Buck Frontiersman in all of her glory. Now, of course, we're in this sheath, this gorgeous sheath. Does not have a drain hole. That is a slight, a little tiny little annoyance, but it's not something I can't fix. I can drill a hole through the bottom and fix that. Of course, it does say 124 on the back because that is the model number. And on the back side it says proudly made in USA. Isn't that something, eh? I sure do like my Buck knives. Look at that. Right away you can see it's a full tang knife. This is a chunky boy. Get her out. Would you have a look at that? This is a two-hander knife. This is so big it hardly fits in frame. Just look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, gorgeous. Micarta handle scales. I gotta be careful I hand this thing. This thing is razor sharp, by the way. Razor sharp. Hair shaving sharp. As you can see, full tang construction. Let's get, can we see on the, can I get the camera to focus here? There we go. Buck 124 USA. America. Yeah. I tell you what. I love this thing. Oh man, I've so wanted one of these for the longest time. And I tell you what, it fits my hand nicely. Okay? Yeah. Boy, this thing is a bad arse knife. It's got just a little bit of back swedge at the top here. Unsharpened, of course. It does have like somewhat of a forward finger choil. That's not, I don't really think that's what its intended purpose is. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm sorry if you're hearing some crunching in the background. That's my kitty just blazed the cat munching away on some food. He always decides to start eating the moment I turn the camera on. But yeah, just look at that. Nice aluminum pins through the handles there. Aluminum handle guard. Aluminum Pommel, I guess you can call that. I mean, oh boy, I tell you what, I'm like a little kid here, just looking at this gorgeous knife. You know, this hunk of steel. You know, 420 HC, Paul Boss heat treated. Sure, this isn't some, you know, fancy dancy, you know, S35 or K390 or Rex 121. You know, it's nothing ridiculous like that. But I tell you what, Bucks 420 with their heat treat, it gets the job done. It holds an edge for an incredible long time. It's not terribly hard to resharpen. In fact, I'd say it's actually fairly easy to resharpen and maintain. And that's important. When you're like me and you're a hunter, you know, you're an outdoorsman, being able to maintain this in the field is more important to me than a blade steel that holds an edge for a ridiculous amount of time, that if it gets a tiny little chip in the blade, I can't sharpen it in the field because I got to come home and bust out my diamond stones to get that chip out, and spend an hour and a half just trying to work that little chip out. You know, a lot of these super steels, they're great, don't get me wrong, but they're also a real pain in the butt if you have to do major work. So, you know, if I'm using this knife and I'm going through some bone or something, you know, working on a large game animal, a moose or a deer, and I chip out the blade somehow or another, putting an edge back on this in the field is a heck of a lot easier than if this was made out of some, you know, super fancy high-end blade steel. I don't know, guys. I'm flabbergasted by this. I can't believe I actually finally have this thing. You know, this is definitely in line to be one of my Grail knives. It isn't. I do have other knives that are above this, that are in my Grail knife definition, but I tell you what, this is certainly up there. So, real quick, we're just going to do some very quick measurements here. I'll be posting somewhere along here what the measurements actually are, but, you know, the main blade length, so just doing some quick measurements here. So we're about, I want to say, about 8 5/8 roughly long. That's the actual from tip to the crossguard here. Now the actual sharpened part, if we go get an accurate measurement here of that, I'm going to say, hold on, I got to do it this way here so I can see this better. Can't see what I'm doing. I got to pull this back this way. I'm knocking stuff around again here, folks. How can I do this here? About 6 and hold on a sec. Let me do that again here. I'm going to say about a 6 inches and 1/8, roughly, the cutting edge, which is substantial. Overall length, so from tip to tail, yeah, we're about 11 3/4. Blade height, I want to say, what's that, 1 1/4 inch, 1 5/16, give or take. Handle length altogether is, whoops, say, well, let's do the handle length. About 5 inches right on the dot. And blade thickness, well, camera's probably not picking this up very well. About 5/16. Or no, sorry. That's not right, 5/16. That's 5/32. I can't read that. My eyes are failing me here. I gotta back this up. Try measuring this way. Yeah. Yeah, no, about 5/16. That's right. Sorry. Camera's probably not focusing. My eyes are getting to the point. I really need to get a set of glasses, I think, folks. I can't see as good as I used to. Oh, and how about the thickness of the handle? Real quick here. So we're about roughly 1 inch thick, give or take. All right. Again, these aren't precise measurements. This is just me goofing around with a ruler here with bad eyes. You know, I'll post this somewhere here, what the exact measurements are. But let's just go ahead and do a quick size comparison, just for the sake of doing so. And so there is your Buck 119, which, folks, this is an excellent knife, okay? no disparagement going on here. This is an excellent knife. If this is all you had and it was the only buck knife you had, you're not doing bad. But this big bad boy here, you know, it's like, well, that's not a knife. Well, that's a knife. Oh man, I feel like Rambo would have hold this thing. I tell you what, or Mick Dundee, you know, like. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And just for fun, what do I got in my pocket today? I happen to have the Victorinox Pioneer X. Looks like a toy by comparison beside it. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway. Oh, man. I tell you what. This has been a long time coming, folks. I've wanted this knife for the longest time. I just got it in. I took the last one off the shelf. Oh, and I forgot to mention. I don't know if you can see that little nick right there. See that nick on the handle? Yeah, that little blemish there, and the fact that it was the display model. I got a discount off the knife, so I did not actually, in fact, pay what the box said there. I paid significantly less, but and I bought that from a local mom and pop family-owned knife shop that's local to me here. I did not order this from Amazon or give someone else my money. It went to the local community here, and folks. I do buy a lot of knives from Blades Canada and even Amazon and, other places. But I really do try to support local. And that is what I do recommend, folks. Always try to support local if you can, okay? Anyway, that's really all I have to say about this knife. I'm in love with it. Of course, I'm kind of in that honeymoon phase. Having a hard time deciding what I don't like about it. But you know what, folks? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. What do you think about the Buck Frontiersman? Is it worth its money? Is it an overpriced sharpened crowbar? Either way, I'd like to, whatever you think, I'd like to hear about it. Thanks very much for watching. This is Singing Toad, signing out.